following podcast may contain strong language. Listener discretion is advised.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to Hallmark of Greatness, the show that pushes you into a spooky cave again and again and again. I'm Joe, and with me as always, no longer full of birthday cheer, but maybe anniversary anxiety, it's Barney.
Anniversary drunkenness.
I couldn't remember what the last film was, and then my notes for it were just like, this is a birthday film, so I was like, nothing to go on there, is there? And she's back, fresh from her DJ residency in Misty Oaks, Cleethorpes' premier old folks home. It's Katie.
Hello. They missed me already.
If you would like to keep up to date with all the Hallmark of Greatness gossip, you can follow us on Twitter at Hallmark of Great, all one word, or we are on Instagram and Facebook at Hallmark of Greatness. How are we doing?
It's a big sigh.
It's been a long day. I've just made roasted tomato and red pepper soup.
Lovely.
Well, I've boiled a kettle and tipped it into a tin of dolmio, but you know, same thing, isn't it?
A few basil leaves on top. No.
Yeah, it's fancy. No, I made it and everything. It's very nice. But I have also just sliced my thumb open on a knife. So it's what?
You made soup
Yeah.
on a really hot, humid day.
Yeah, it needs using up, needs making up today. It's from the Gusto box,
Oh.
and this was the one that had the shortest shelf life, so I had to use that.
Did you have it gazpacho style?
No, I used a spoon. Hey! We didn't even plan that. That's just what it's like. No. It's not. Like, it's sweaty here, but it's just boosted it down, and it's quite cold now. So yeah, I'm quite cold, but that's because I don't know. But yeah, how is everyone? That was a strange intro. Katie's been on her travels around the world.
Yep.
Did you find your baby?
Did I what?
Been around the world and
Oh no.
Yeah, I've just realised that you probably don't remember Lisa Stansfield's. Yeah.
No, I didn't find anything.
There's
There's a joke, I can't remember where it was from, and it was like, I'm off to find myself, and he goes, well, what if you find out that he's a twat as well? Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
well.
Can I tell you about the giant bottle of Prosecco someone left at our party? It's huge.
Is it open?
No.
Is it empty?
So it's fully sealed with Prosecco inside it. And I went to put it on my wine rack and I thought it's going to break it because it's really, really heavy. So it's got to live in the kitchen.
Someone nicked it from like a boat launch.
Do you remember that one Teresa brought?
Oh, yeah.
It's like that.
She won it on a raffle and it was like a Jeroboam of fizzy wine. It wasn't even Prosecco, was it? It was like,
no. But if nobody claims it, it'll end up at the school tombola.
I got one for my birthday, a huge, like a double. I don't know what they're called.
Is that not a Magnum?
A Magnum, maybe.
Magnum's an ice cream.
He's also a PI, but you know.
Gets around a bit.
Yeah, but the thing is, I was well excited, but then it became like quite a big pressure for when to open it. You know, when are you committing to drink 2 bottles of Prosecco
in one sitting?
In one evening, yeah.
Because it's too big to go in the fridge once it's open.
Absolutely, exactly.
I don't even have that many friends to drink it with me, like share it.
You could just
and
go
if I let Harvey drink some of it, she'll be giggly and asleep.
No. Let's not talk about that.
Well, if you need any help, you know where I am.
I don't think I could carry it. I think it would bust a tire. It's that heavy.
I don't remember anyone dropping that off, so I don't know.
No, it's bloody massive. I don't know where
You'd have seen them dragging it in a sack. Yes. So, as for the past, I don't know, it feels like a long time since we've done an actual good film. And so this week we have chosen to do something that is genuinely pretty good and feeds back into what seems to be a weird time loop hobby that we seem to have picked up on. So this week's film is 2020's Palm Springs. Didn't get a cinema release because of COVID, was released straight to Hulu, and I believe was their most watched film of the year. Do we have a synopsis? No.
No, because I watched it drunk when we got home, didn't I?
Fair enough. I mean, the actual synopsis: stuck in a time loop, 2 wedding guests develop a budding romance while living the same day over and over again. So, and as you will see, a lot of people have compared this to Groundhog Day, despite the fact it has nothing in common with Groundhog Day, apart from it's a time loop. But a lot of the reviews are quite angry. This is just ripping
Yeah.
off Groundhog Day. And you're like,
But
Is
when
it
you're
the-
reading the facts, he mentions that
Groundhog
he's used,
Day, Happy
he's
Death
used
Day.
all them as like inspiration, and that the audience know what a time loop is, so he doesn't need to lay the groundwork, and it just goes straight into it,
Yeah, I thought it was very well
which I like.
done and very well paced, actually, and layered things in nicely all the way through it, so it kept adding stuff to it. I don't know. I thoroughly enjoy it. Well, again, I like Andy Samberg anyway.
I
And
do.
also, it's, what's he called? J.K. Simmons as well, who is always good in everything that he's in.
Is he the guy who
Hey,
chases
shitbird.
him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's in a lot of stuff, and he always plays kind of the same curmudgeonly character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been in Brooklyn Nine-Nine and
He isn't, yeah. He is in
he's in
Brooklyn
that.
Nine-Nine. Yeah.
And he's in that other film with Andy Samberg in it,
Oh,
where he plays a secondary character who's gay.
yeah. I can't remember what it's
And
called. It's not one of the
Boyle's in
better.
it as well. I can't remember what the film was.
I know it'll come to me at some point. I could just look it up, but it's. I remember it being not one of the better Andy Samberg films, but
No.
I might have to rewatch it at some point. Currently working my way through Brooklyn Nine-Nine again for like the 6th time while I'm cooking because
You've
It's
run
good.
out of The Office. You've got bored of The Office. Fine.
I've got confused because now the thing in the kitchen will play it on Netflix and on Prime. And I can't remember where I'm up to with either of them, but I know they're vastly different parts of the story. And I just thought I'll just do Brooklyn Nine-Nine instead again, because up until like the last season, it's pretty solid.
Oh.
Well, again, getting a little bit off. No, because he's going to listen to this, isn't he? There again, he texted me today anyway. Yeah, James's stag do. I'm going to get. I think I might get steak stud t-shirts made up for us.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get a balloon arch as well?
I'm not made of money. Look, I have to drag that around all night as well. But yeah, I was going to get him that, and I was going to get him a Dan Flash's shirt to wear as well. The most complicated pattern that they have. Just
what?
a Dan from I Think You Should Leave, the Dan Flash's shirt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see, I found them online, but I'm like, I need to get a decent one, not just like a khaki one. But yeah. Anyway, enough of.
So I'll tell him not to listen to this one.
No, it's fine. He knows.
He knows.
He wants to buy everyone one of
I know.
Thingy's hats with the safari flaps on them. I was like, we can't all wear them because we can't all pull them off.
No, he was the only one in the shop.
He was the only one that could do it. We could get some Stanzo brand fedoras. They don't stink enough. Anyway, to the film. We open with Andy Samberg's character Niles, which again, all I can think of whenever they said Niles was really Niles from Freya, because it's just like it's the only Niles anyone knows, isn't it? He wakes up in bed. There's a young lady there oiling her leg.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like they then proceed to have sex, which
That's a
again,
good
this whole open this whole opening bit is really bizarre, because then she's just like, no, you'll have to finish yourself, and then just like we just get Andy Samberg wanking in the door. And I was like, is this what this film is? Is it one of them? But no, It's not. It turns out that like he's having difficulty. What are you get out?
It's produced by Lonely
Island.
Lonely Island, and it's very jizzed in my pants.
It is very. There's. You can tell that Akiva Schaffer's had his hand in this at some point. Yeah. But then it just cuts to him on a lilo in a pool drinking beer. Right, and you're thinking, okay, what?
The dream.
I mean, yeah, what's happening here? Some guy comes up, he gives him a beer, and they have a conversation. He basically says that it's the same today as it was tomorrow, and it will be the day after, and stuff. And you're going, okay, this is a little bit nihilistic, but clearly he's maybe just a bit burnt out or a bit. But it turns out this is Misty's his girlfriend, and is she related to the woman getting married?
No, I think she just sees herself as the best friend.
Yeah.
Right, because I wasn't sure what the relationship was there. But it's Tala and someone Abe getting married who do not look like siblings.
Yeah.
They're getting married, and they're at this Palm Springs resort for the wedding. And this is where we first sort of see that things are not as they seem. because Misty does this terrible speech that made me laugh, where she just reads things out from the dictionary and then stops, and they go, "Oh, that's the
She's
end."
got, weird glitter around her eyes as well, like she's at a festival.
Yeah, commitment. I looked up what makes a long marriage, and it's love and commitment. And then she says commitment, and just gives a dictionary definition, and then just pauses.
Yeah,
it's so awkward.
Which is not how you're meant to do those speeches anyway, are you? You're meant to give the dictionary definition at the start of the speech, if you're doing stuff like. But anyway, it's to show that she's basically a bit thick. But then it turns out that she's a basic bitch. She's basic, yeah, but she's attractive, so that's carried her through life this far, I guess. And we introduced to the female protagonist of this film, Sarah, who is Tyler's older sister, and as we find out later on, a bit of a fuck up. She drinks too much, and she's just like quite a fun person to be around.
The Misty finishes and says, "Come to hear from the actual maid of honor, her older sister, Sarah." And Sarah has no idea that she's supposed to be doing a speech and is already 3 wine glasses deep.
Well, she's at the bar going, "Can you fill the wine up to the top?" And she goes, "It's not good wine." And
that
does it look like I care?
Yeah.
We've all been to weddings like that, where it's just like, there's an open bar? Right, fine. And so, in a weird twist of fate, like, Niles comes in and does this quite heartfelt speech, like this really good speech about them finding each other, all this sort of stuff. And like Sarah sort of looks at him with puppy dog eyes, and they go off and they have a drink together. The waitress comes over. "Here's the 2 drinks you didn't pick up from the bar." "Oh, I always order 2 so I don't have to make 2 journeys." And I was just like, you didn't anyway.
But there's this bit as well where he's like coming towards her and he's like synchronized everything with every single person. So he's like
implying that he has been through, he knows what's going to happen.
I just love that scene. I think that's
it's really well done. Like, he joins the dancing bits as he goes through. He puts a chair under someone who's about to fall over. It's really well done. But it could just be that he's smooth. Like, you know what I mean? At this point, we don't know what's happened. They have this sort of heartfelt conversation about how they're both kind of disappointments. He's quite nihilistic in his approach to life, and she has that thing of she isn't the favorite child, and so has fully leaned into it, sort of thing. They go and do they go and see Misty having? Well, is this where they go to see Misty in the toilet with the vicar? Who's dressed like a bullfighter for some reason?
I think she says, "Oh, well, aren't you Misty's boyfriend?" And he goes, "Oh, I don't mind. Come look." And then they go see them having sex, and she's saying, "Oh, we're so naughty," over and over again. Yeah, and then it's just really funny.
It was very strange. And so they go off into the desert, which I don't know why that's the first place you'd go, into the cold nighttime desert. But they're lying on the ground, they're talking and stuff, and then they're like, "Right, let's just go at it like knives then." So Niall stands up, rips his top off, and then spends ages getting his pants off, and then out of nowhere he gets struck in the shoulder with an arrow. And Sarah just starts screaming about what's happening, and I was like, "Yeah, what is happening?" And then the thing was, Niles just goes, "I knew it was you, Roy." And I'm like, "Who's Roy?"
And he just kind of like limps off into the distance, no explanation.
She's just like lay on the ground screaming at what's happening. And he hunts down, he shoots, he like hamstrings
Did he get shot
him.
again?
He hamstrings him in the leg. And I knew I could smell you. But he keeps calling him shitbird as well, which makes me laugh. And he heads into this cave that's got like a weird glow in it. And as he's crawling in, Sarah appears behind him, and he's like, "Don't come into the cave, don't come in." And then like he disappears.
He's sucked in, doesn't he? And
then she follows him in, and we get this repeated thing. Like in the Groundhog Day, it would be "I got you, babe," but for Niles, it's someone saying "wake up." Well, it's Misty saying "wake up," and he's back in the room this morning, and this
with the leg, the sexy leg,
with the sexy greasy leg.
Yeah.
And so we get the same. I'm assuming we get the same opening. He's in the pool again. But while he's in there talking to, I can't remember what the guy was called. I don't know whether he's got a name. He does get a name because turns out there's a story there. Sarah comes running out and just starts. Everyone's got cans of beer at all times in this film, which made me laugh because I was like, "Where is he pulling these from?" But he
Because-
falls. It was a really nice bit because he falls in the water, and these cans are hitting the water like in a war film,
Yeah.
like where the bullets breach into the
Yeah.
water and slow down. And I was like, oh, okay. She's going, what have you done to me? What's happening or something?
Yeah. I
But
can't
then we-
remember what happens next.
But then we get the same morning told from Sarah's side. So she wakes up in this room
Yeah.
and is like, she looks out the window and this guy going, oh, it's a great day for a wedding. And she's like, oh, this is strange. And she goes outside and she sees that there's the wedding breakfast stuff is still up and all that jazz. And this isn't right. And then she sees Niles in the pool and realizes that it's the same day again. So she
Yeah.
goes out and yells at him. And he basically says that, yeah, we're in a time loop. If you die or fall asleep, the day just restarts. Which do you reckon you get the benefit of the sleep?
I'm wondering that because I like my sleep.
That's the only thing I like in life at the moment is sleeping.
Like, so if you got drunk the night before, as in your actual moving life, you'd wake up hungover every day, even if you didn't drink that evening.
But that's why I'm assuming Niles is pretty much drunk all the way through the film.
Yeah, because why would
Because-
you be?
Well, yeah, but they're saying that as well. It removes that sort of control that you would normally feel as to what I mean. He doesn't do dark things, it turns out. But
I mean, he does a bit.
well, but he says that like killing yourself doesn't work either. He says like I've tried it. I've killed myself so many times.
Yeah.
But he says if you're gonna, and she's like, well, okay, let's test the theory then, and starts accelerating down the road. And he takes his seatbelt off and just rests his head against the dashboard, like. And he says it's better to die instantly than to be in pain because pain is still real.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, okay. I don't. Yeah. And then like they wake up the next morning again, and we have this thing as time progresses. They go to a bar, which I quite liked because there's that lady in it who's the daytime prostitute from My Name Is Earl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Carla.
who's the same character in every film and stuff
Yeah.
she's in. But he basically explains that like life, nothing matters because it all comes back around again. Like he pays like $100 for a chocolate bar and like has been through this day. He knows everyone and all this stuff. And they're like, well, I think Sarah says like, have you ever had sex? And he's like, yes.
Yeah, and he lists all the people he's had sex with, doesn't he?
It says only two.
No.
I think he lists two, and then he lists the guy in the pool as well.
Yeah.
That time, and then
And
he
the
says,
dad.
"Oh, and your dad."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "No, I'm only joking."
Hmm.
And she says, "Have me and you ever hooked up?" And he goes, "No. It gets kind of boring after a while." And then we get what is like, I think one of the best getting to know you montages. Because it's just them being knobheads, basically.
Messing around, yeah.
Yeah.
They're like training for a dance sequence. I think one of my favorite lines in the film is where he comes in and there's a bomb in the cake. Don't worry, I used to be a bomb guy. And he just attaches it to a harpoon and fires it into the sky. But then Sarah's got an eye patch and a hook, and they're just doing bits.
Unknown origin.
But yeah, they're just doing what you would do, and he's got someone to do it with now. He's got a
Yeah.
friend, he's got an ally. But it turns out we find out that was he called Rob, the guy that shoots him?
Roy.
Roy. Turns out a similar thing happened. They got drinking, had a great night, went to the desert. Again, everyone going to the desert.
Yeah.
Must be a thing.
And like Niles, he says this was early on, but also I don't know because time doesn't make any sense anymore. But now Roy is stuck in this loop as well, and
Because
he
he
comes.
says, "This is the best night of my life. I wish I could do this every night," or something like that. And
But again,
Sandberg is like, "Oh well, okay."
They have a good night of them. Like there's a bit where they're sitting in the
Partying.
bath going, "I am the ship," which made me chuckle because it's just weird shit you do in it. And yeah, but obviously nobody would want this. This is hell. I think Niall says like this could be heaven, this could be hell, this could be purgatory. I don't know what it is, and I don't know how long I've been here for. It's the thing. I mean, I believe on the director's commentary for it, he says it's anywhere between 4 and 4 million years he's been there for.
Yeah.
Which, but yeah, Roy lives out in Irving, which I'm guessing is a distance away from Palm Springs. So he only
Yeah.
sees him every so often. But then we
Couldn't
get a
be bothered
montage.
to make the journey. Yeah.
But then we get a montage of Roy just doing
Facing him.
tortures on him.
Yeah. Setting on fire. And...
Setting him on fire. He's like electrocuting him with like a car battery and stuff. He's got some anger issues, which is understandable because again, he's been forced into this weird hell.
Does he go and see Roy because Sarah said that she's not doing this anymore and she's...
He goes to see Roy, I think, to like
Oh,
make
God.
amends for it and get closure later on.
Yeah.
She tries
And there's-
different things, doesn't she? So she tries to kill herself. She runs over Roy in the
Oh,
police
Well,
yeah.
we get that bit where they're driving along and they've had like a bit of a weird sort of argument because, as it turns out, it's not her room she wakes up in. The night previous, she has had sex with the groom, with her,
Yeah.
and she realizes that like maybe I can get out of this by learning a lesson. And so on one of the wedding days, she says, I'm assuming she says to her sister, "Yeah, I slept with your husband last night," hoping that will somehow redeem her.
Yeah.
It does not.
No, the next one she wakes up and like, life is meaningless, let's go.
Let's go. And they've given each other tattoos. They're doing all this.
In the shape of penises.
The penises. They go into the bar and do this incredibly bizarre dance routine while flipping
great
everyone
dance
out.
routine.
It's brilliant, but it comes out of nowhere. But yeah, as they're driving along, this cop car's following them. And so eventually it turns out that it's Roy. She runs off. But then breaks Roy's legs with the police cruiser. And then they sit down and like Niles is like, "No, we don't hurt people. Like pain is still real. That's not what we do." And she's like, "Yeah, but he was going to kill." And it's this thing. And then this is where like they start falling apart basically because it turns out that he's had sex with her thousands of times. He said all I had to do was that speech.
Save you from doing that speech, yeah.
Which is the first night he met her in this iteration, if you think about it, isn't it? So it's yeah. So she sort of runs into a truck, and then this is where we get her. He doesn't. Niles doesn't see her for days and days. Well, I don't know how long it takes. But Niles gets even more sort of depressed and nihilistic. The parents are arguing, and he's just making margaritas. Like,
Do you think he's called Niall because of nihilism?
Brilliant.
Possibly, yes. That did cross my mind, but also. But yeah, where he's just making margaritas at like 8 a.m. while they're arguing about where the daughter is. I was like, yep. But also, he's like, maybe he just doesn't care because it's not about her, and he gets quite despondent with it all. And but like Sarah has said, you need to speak to Roy and like find like make peace with this. But it turns out all this time. Oh, I think Sarah at one point drove all the way to Texas as well.
She drove home.
She drove home, but it was just her singing at herself in the car that made me laugh as well. I am awake. And it turns out Niles once got all the way to Buenos Aires while smoking crystal meth, but they got him. They arrested him as soon as he got off the plane.
Yeah,
it's like, so it is that thing. But it says that she's using this time to learn about quantum mechanics, general relativity, and stuff. And we get like another learning montage of this.
yes.
And she figures out that by timing the loop, there's a gap between them leaving and them re-arriving in the morning. And she theorizes if she explodes herself, they will break free of the loop. She tries it on this goat. The next day, the goat's not there. But I was like, would that work? Because that doesn't make sense to me.
She said you have to get out of the loop in the 3 something seconds.
Yeah, I know,
so if
but
you explode. How did the goat know though to get out in the 3 seconds?
Oh, so she had a clicker, didn't she? Also, where's she got Semtex from?
I know, yeah, I got that.
You can get anything if your life's going to restart in the day, isn't it?
I know money's no object, but where do you source plastic explosives from? It's America. You can probably get it in fucking Walmart, can't you? Yeah. For security.
Next to the guns.
So she theorizes this, and she reappears and offers Niles this escape. He confesses that he loves her, and she's like, "You don't even know.
Bored of each other.
You don't know me. All you know is this version of me." And he says, and then she accuses him of being afraid to leave the loop because he's been in there. Well, she asked him what his job was, and he goes, "I honestly don't know." So it's been in there so long. And so I also like the fact that I don't know whether like it was meant to be, but the thing she drew on the mirror looked very similar to the cock and balls she had tattooed onto her.
I didn't notice that.
So I was just like, maybe it was just me. I can spot a cock and balls on certain bases. But she says, "Well, I'm going tonight. If you don't want to come with me, that's fine." He tries
to convince her not to do it.
Yeah, we can stay here forever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it sounds fun, but it's not, is it?
No,
It's like
the first couple of days, but then it's not.
If it was any other day where you could go and do anything else, but a wedding, you're tied to that, aren't you? That's the thing. But so she goes to the wedding. She gives like a genuine heartfelt speech about her sister, and like hugs her, and like I think Niles has figured out that she slept because Niles is laying like the groom's room when they're all doing coke, and then he smells her hair on the pillow. It was somewhat weird.
Yeah. He's come to really intimately know the same smells, isn't he, or something like the hair products she's using.
We don't know how long they've been in it. That's the thing. And we see her making a phone call to someone as well, which pays off. And then after finding out this, he realizes that's why she wants to leave, because she can't keep waking up in that room every day. He rushes to the cave. You get that great bit with the gun guy. And he's like, "I'm your son," and he's like, "I always knew I had a son," which again is just a weird bit.
I wanted to know who that gun guy, what pictures he was shooting. Who was he shooting at?
It's the picture of the guy who stole his wife.
Right.
It is explained earlier on when they're firing, because I think it's the goat that escapes, because he stood next to it with like a rocket launcher. And I'm like, they're not going to explode a goat, surely. But yeah, they're just shooting holes, and he's like, who's the mustache man? And it turns out, yeah, it was the guy who he goes to the bar first, and Darla like sort of gives him advice in a way. But he goes there and he says, look, like if we're going, I'd rather die in the cave with you than live here on my own.
He does one of those she says you've got one sentence, and he does that like extended sentence, colon,
which again,
and
semicolon, ampersand, which again is
ellipses.
Again, it's just good sort of bits. I really like both of these people in it. They're like nice, bad characters. They walk into the cave and we kiss, and it harkens back to the speech about you'll find, even in the darkest times, you'll find light, because the light is there. And I was like, that's quite nice.
That's what Dumbledore says.
It's a lot of people have said it. I'm fairly sure Roy says that when they first meet as well. Because
he is wise.
After I like your hat. But yeah, Niles has been to see Roy as well at this point, and found out that like Roy is a family man, but he's never going to see his kids grow up because they're stuck in this day over and over again. And then
I thought it was mean that they don't go in and say to Roy that we're going to try and escape.
Well, that's what the phone call. That's what the phone call was.
Oh, it was a phone call. Oh,
yes,
okay.
That's what the message was.
It was a little bit after the.
If you watch the mid credits, there's a little mid credit sequence.
I missed that.
Yeah. And it was just the fact that Niles goes, "Can I stay for dinner?" And he goes, "No." You wouldn't mind killing me, so I don't have to travel all the way back. And he just shoots him in the chest at point blank range.
In a bin.
It's recycling day. But yeah, just that made me chuckle. But yeah, they go through the thing, and it turns out that they have managed to make the loop. They're in this pool in this house. What we found out earlier is that this family are away on this day, and you're thinking, oh, maybe it hasn't worked. And they're just sitting in this pool drinking these little weird cans of beer that they've always got on them. And then the family show up and are like, oh, it must be the next day. I think he said November the 10th is the day they come home, I guess.
Come back, yeah.
So they have escaped from the thing. And then it just They don't get out of the pool. They just, they're just like, and then that's it. Like, that's the film. There's a lot more.
The dinosaurs in the background though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I didn't get that. Because it's like when they go and do mushrooms.
Yeah, here when they're doing mushrooms. And then they're there at the end.
So are the dinosaurs in the time loop?
So this is one of my facts, but I'll just skip it then.
Oh, go on.
They, in the director's cut, they say something like they were put in there to mess with the viewers at the end, just to be like, are they really out of the loop, or are they the dinosaurs? Oh,
right, I just because I didn't understand the dinosaur bit at all, to be honest.
According to the writer Andy Ciara, the dinosaurs are meant to be real. If Niles and Sarah, two characters who didn't think they were capable of love, can find it, then the dinosaurs must really exist.
Okay. Again, I assumed
maybe in this multiple universe, there's one universe where there's dinosaurs existing. Who knows?
It was just one of those. I assumed it was just put in there to mess with you, because I was like, it makes no sense otherwise. And then the film ends, and then in the mid-credit sequence, we're at the wedding again, and Roy shows up after receiving the voicemail, goes over to Niles and asks if the plan works, and Niles goes, I don't know who you are. Like, has a genuine no recognition on his face, and then Roy sort of goes, so it does work. Then
when he goes to the barmaid, light him up, I need a lot of alcohol, because he's blow himself up. Because
also Niles is wearing like a tuxedo and like a proper formal wedding attire, and not like a Hawaiian shirt and flip-flops like he has throughout the entire film. So it is implied that it works, but then right, and that's the film. But if it resets on that day, Does that mean Niles and Sarah don't know each other? Or is that an alternate timeline? Or this is the
There must
problem
be
with
an
time
alternate-
travel.
Well, I was keep thinking about, is there a timeline where Roy's family find Jake Niles' body in their bin and get implicated for his murder, and presumably Roy's disappeared as well because he's
Niles does say he's never. At one point, I think when they're up near the burrito truck, he does mention alternate timelines, but he says it doesn't do to dwell on it.
no.
So, but yeah, it's one. There is a lot more to this because it's a lot more nuanced, and there's a lot of things happen that feed into other stuff, and we can't go through it all like that because it'd be boring as fuck. But I really, really like this film.
I like this one.
Compared to
It's the best time loop film we've watched this year.
And we've watched two.
This is the third one.
Third one.
Meet Cute, the time traveller at Christmas's war wife, or whatever that one called, that Darren made us watch.
That wasn't a loop.
Well, no, but it was time travel.
Well, also, did we not do the wedding veil?
Was that this year?
That's time travel.
I watched Wedding Fit. I think I watched Meet Cute, although I can't remember what happened.
Yeah, you did watch Meet Cute.
Yeah,
Kelly
watched Meet Cute.
Cow and that tall lad. Yeah.
And what happened?
She went on a time
traveling sunbed.
Time, yeah.
You were here.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
I think you did wedding veil as well.
I think I did as well, where it was like the woman with
10
the
years
Lego
in the
hair.
future.
Oh, we've done the woman, the Hallmarky one who goes 10 years in her future.
That's the wedding veil.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, her mum puts the wedding veil on her and she finds out she's got grotty kids and
Oh.
yeah. And I was all like, oh, I'd go back and cancel the wedding because my future looks horrible. But
Well, was it Birthday Wish where she got a glimpse? The optician put the drops in her eyes. Was that
we won't go
Birthday
into the
Wish?
birthday wish because I still don't understand the birthday wish. But yeah,
So this is our seventh time travel.
it's the 99th time film we've done this year. There is also another one with Aubrey Plaza in it I've been recommended as well, so we'll do that when we have to do a good film again. But yeah, I thought it was kind of clever. I thought it was very funny as
I
well.
thought it was funny.
Purely for Niles and Sarah, to be fair, and Roy. Like,
Cast well.
and it's like you said, because everyone's familiar with Groundhog Day and stuff like that, they didn't need to explain all that. You know, like in Batman films where they always show Batman's parents dying at the start. We get it. Batman's parents are dead. You don't have to keep showing me that.
Yeah, no, it was good.
So yeah, your scores, Barney?
6 golden tiny IPA cans.
Oh, nice. Apparently, it's not an IPA. It should be a watery light lager that needs to be served cold because he's drinking it all day, isn't he?
I think we've read the same articles. These facts are not going to be a surprise.
But yeah, because he's drinking it all day, so it's got to be like a session beer, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But there again, also he's drinking whiskey and margaritas, and I'm fairly sure he just drinks loads of vodka at one point in the morning when Sarah's run away. So yeah. Katie, you got to think of something scrambled now, aren't you?
I know. I was going for the IPAs. 4 pizza-shaped Lilos out of 4.
Damn you! That's what I had. I'm gonna go for 4 gold priests in matador outfits.
So Andy Samberg said that there was multiple endings written and shot.
Oh.
They had a private friends and family screening of the different versions to get opinions on which one worked, and he said, so it might not have been the perfect, but everyone seems to like that one.
Yeah, you wanted a happy ending, don't you?
You did want them to get out, I think.
Yeah, they'd suffered enough.
Yeah. I think you've already referenced this, but it holds the record for the biggest sale of a film at the Sundance Film Festival at 17 million. 17,500,000. Beating the previous record by 69 cents.
69.
That's Lonely Island all over it, isn't it? Yeah.
So during the learning physics montage, Sarah contacts a physicist called Clifford Johnson, and Johnson is the actual scientist who works on the movie, helping the filmmakers come up with an original premise that actually made sense in terms of physics.
Oh,
So apparently, all of this could happen somewhere.
I mean, maybe it is.
Proper physics man.
Proper physics, man.
Yeah. Did Groundhog Day have that? No, possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The scene between Niles and Roy where Niles compliments Roy hat and Roy responds, "Of course you do," was improvised. I quite like that.
Come on.
Of course you do. Although it was set in Palm Spring, it wasn't actually shot in Palm Spring. It was in Palmdale and Santa Clarita. They were the most. I was thinking of, is that Santa Clara's Diet? That one with Drew
That's
Barrymore?
what I was thinking.
Yeah, the cannibals thing, yeah.
The
Cannibals or zombies? Oh, yeah.
A zombie that's a cannibal.
I always get confused between that and iZombie.
Yeah. That one.
Terrible.
So not actually in Palm Spring, but Palmdale. So close enough.
It's close enough. It's a Palm.
The Palm, yeah? Is it in a desert?
Well, it did say it used those locations most because they simulate the look of Palm Springs, especially with the desert and vegetation.
I was going to say, I'm assuming that desert is where they filmed a lot of Star Trek and stuff like that.
Well, speaking of things that have been reused, the cave scene was filmed at Bronson Caves, which was made famous in the 1960s Batman series.
Where they killed his parents.
They killed his parents in the cave.
Is that where that? Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go and check that now because is it the bit where the Batmobile, the thing falls down, the Batmobile comes out of that cave? Is that cave?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think so.
That's cool.
I'm starstruck now.
Of a landmass, yeah.
And then finally, my final fact is they initially shot the scene with Niles running naked through the desert with Sandberg's stunt double, and then shot it again with Sandberg himself just in case it was too obviously not him. But they went with the Sandberg bum because he said my butt was funnier.
I mean, yeah.
Everything he does is funny, isn't it? Even his butt. So that's my facts.
The poor stunt man.
I know. We don't want your butt. It's not funny enough.
Not funny enough. Yeah, funny enough. Set yourself on fire.
Your butt's too serious.
I went down the 1 out of 10 routes because everyone seems to be really angry that this wasn't Groundhog Day.
Well, I went the opposite way, and there were a lot of good reviews. So I found Ricky Dry County, who gave it a 3 out of 10 and called it Sandberg versus Sandler.
Okay.
Oh, because there's 51 dates.
51st dates.
51st dates.
Go on.
That's not a time loop though. She's got amnesia, isn't it?
Yes.
But she's living the same day every day, I guess. They try and simulate the fact that she's having the exact same day at first in 51st
I can't remember.
But she's
Go on.
just aging. Where they're aging.
So aging this, yes, you look good.
Call me an old-fashioned bore, but they really suck at making movies these days.
Yeah.
How on earth is this an 84 out of 100 on Metacritic is beyond me, even by their laughable standards. This is absolute pedestrian drivel. Out of the many recurring day themes in movies and TV, brackets Groundhog Day, 51st Date, Supernatural, this is definitely the worst. This made an 85-minute runtime seem unwatchable and never-ending, probably because Sandberg is such a third-rate version of Sandler.
How dare you?
Now, Ricky Dry. With none of the likability of the latter. Even my girl, who can consume modern BS with more tolerance than me, was found fast-forwarding this annoyance multiple times.
Whose butt's funnier, Adam Sandler's or Andy Samberg?
Sandler gets on my nerves. Adam Sandler's only good in about 3 films.
Would he have liked it more if Andy Samberg had done silly voices and had a fight with some shampoo? Oh, shampoo goes on first. Would he have liked that more? Would he? Ricky Dry County.
Would you, Ricky Dry?
You prick. Well, I got one by William JB, a 1 out of 10. Only a prepubescent child would love this. If you're showing a prepubescent child, a film where there's quite a lot of sexing in it, then this is truly the most garbage movie I've ever seen. As a film student, right? So at this point, I was like, oh, here we go.
Professional.
Easy. I have no idea what the director was doing as he put this massacre together. I think it's supposed to say massacre, but it looks like massacre. So obviously he's got spell check when he hands his student film scripts in. The shots are random and unmotivated, even for a comedy. I love comedies and Andy Samberg, but the writing is so awful, I don't see how a writer could be happy showing this to anyone. And the producers must have been so eager for a script that they couldn't recognise how terrible it is. The editing and sound mixing look like they've been done by amateurs. Yeah, the sound mixing looks like it's been done by a prick. Besides the few creative cinematic shots and the 3 or 4 decent lines of dialogue, there's absolutely nothing good about this film, and anyone who thinks this is great must have a very low intellect and poor appreciation of good films. I bet he's got a poster of Scarface on his fucking wall, this lad.
Definitely an incel, isn't he?
I mean, like, a few creative cinematic shots. Mate, it's not Citizen Kane. It's a bit of fluff. Like, that has some interesting points raised in it, actually, about what is the meaning of life. Yeah, I mean, you know, this lad's got like a fucking prospect script, like Billy and the Clonosaurus. Like, you know, it's. Oh, I hate you, William JB.
He was hoping to be found with that review and be put in the Guardian.
In the one of the 743 reviews I found for this online. Yes. Yeah. There was also another one which says, like, how is this movie rated 7.4 out of 10? Are you all 12? And again, they seem to be obsessed with children watching this film, despite the fact I'm fairly sure it's a 15, if not an 18, because there's some swearing and texting in it. So, but yeah, it was just one of those things that, like, I thought it was.
I like it.
Maybe my standards are low, but also, like, I know what I like. I like this. I thought it was very good. I like Andy Samberg in most stuff. There's a fucking hell. What does Rick Dry County think? Look up Rick Dry County, or whatever he was called. See how he feels about that one that's got Andy Samberg and Adam Sandler in it. That's my boy, or whatever. I bet he loves that, or half of it at least. Don't ban it. I don't.
No, I am. I'm on it.
But yeah, it's
2012.
What?
That's when it came out. That's my boy, 2012.
Really?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Wow.
I couldn't make it to the end of that because that was absolute dog shit of a film.
I'd laugh if I found it. He was like, "This is the best film ever."
As a film student, I find that the nice use of tracking shots and also references to, you know, Kurosawa's. Shut up.
Well, he won't, would he? He'd be like, Sandler makes this film.
When Andy Samberg got married, he invited Adam Sandler to the wedding. Sandler showed up as a character in this movie, outfit and all.
Oh, okay. I know he appears in an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Sandler.
Yeah, he does. He's in the auction, isn't he?
He's in the auction as himself when he does the charity auction. It's a film about the Russian Civil War or whatever. Oh, really? Who does Kevin James play in it? Yeah. It's fine.
Oh, Ricky Dry County's got like a professional photograph and all that shit.
He's paid to have himself put on.
He's been a member for 14 years. Here he is.
Ricky.
Paid to have himself put on IMDb. What kind of sad loser would do that, Mark?
No.
Yeah.
Has Bloody done that?
Yeah.
What a knob.
Well, out of the mouths of babes.
What a knob.
I'm gonna find him and like, can I block him, like report him for stuff?
Yeah.
Every review he posts, I'm gonna report him.
I don't know how much it costs to do it, but like, I don't know. In conclusion, that was 2020's Palm Springs. I forgot what it was called then for a second.
You forgot.
Don't be reporting plenty for stuff.
What's his name? No, I'm not.
If you just look up 100 things on there, it should come up. But yeah, that was 2020's Palm Springs, a film we all thoroughly enjoyed. But what was he called? Mr. Dry Chaps didn't.
I don't think you'd be dry in chaps, would you?
I mean, I don't know really. Your favourite lines from the film?
I can't. I just like the dance scene where he does everything. That's not really a line, though, is it?
It's not really lines. It's physical comedy.
I was going to say I did also like that bit where Misty accuses him of cheating and he just starts repeating what she's saying back to her at the same time. That was fun. Again, a lot of fun bits that we didn't touch on. Go and watch it. It's on everything. I think it's a Hulu.
I think it's just
Prime. If you're American, it's on Hulu, but if not, you can find it on one of those sketchy sites, I'm sure. It's very fun, and it's 90 minutes. This is a good 90 minutes, as opposed to Wedding Jamboree 7 or whatever the crap there was we watched last time.
The Birthday Wish, I told you, with the mad optician.
Yes, it feels like a lifetime ago. Say goodbye, boys and girls.
Goodbye, boys and girls.
It's pronounced Jared Leto.